Oh, this is. Oh, there it is. God.
Welcome to Best Boys, a film podcast. An amateur film study podcast for the average Joe, the buffest buff, and the cringiest binger. I'm your host, JP, and I'm joined by my brother, professional Hollywood videographer.
A Hollywood videographer. Kory McGavish.
I wanted to surprise you with it.
It's weird hearing that out loud.
You gotta jazz it up.
I know. Yeah, I have a hard time flexing.
So if you haven't noticed the last few weeks, I've kind of struggled with the opener a little bit, or we've struggled with the opener. So I wanted to try to ground us in something that then hopefully once I get comfortable, we can get back to making shit up and riffing on it. But Kory, what do we got on the docket today?
Today we are talking about two. I would say one is really good, and the other one is you're either gonna, I think, love or hate. But
I feel like both of these movies are love or hate. Like I love them both. I love them both,
Yeah.
but I think they're love or hates for different reasons. But you know.
But yeah, well, the new movies are Killing of a Sacred Deer, and Titane. Is that how you pronounce it? Titane?
Titane.
Is it Titane?
Titane.
Titane, French. Oh,
Yes.
I did not know going into this that it was French with English subtitles. I didn't know until we got there, till I bought the ticket.
Yeah. You didn't want to know anything, so
I like going in blind anymore because it's nicer, it's easier. I don't get expectations up.
So before we get into that, do you have any updates for us, Mr. Globetrotter? Have you been doing anything interesting?
Last week and this week coming up, I got hired. I'm first day seeing on a documentary here in Pittsburgh about the homeless and opioid crisis.
Sick.
Working in partnership with Light of Life, the homeless shelter, and we did some interviews over at Mercy Hospital and stuff like that. It's been cool. It's been sad, but very interesting. It's seeing a side of Pittsburgh that you don't really see a lot. Pittsburgh's not a very populated city, so you don't really think about the homeless thing because it's not as in your face as like living in Los Angeles is, where it's everywhere. There's camps. But
yeah, that's true. It's and there's I noticed there's a lot of like hidden camps in Pittsburgh. Like I used to think like Pittsburgh didn't have a lot of homeless people, and then people would tell me about like the camps in the parks, in the cemeteries, or under bridges, and they're like massive.
We went to a camp in Southside that I had no idea existed down by the tracks, and it was just like, oh man, this was I wouldn't even know it was there. Very well hidden, but it's
That's how they all are.
It's hard to shoot, but it's because it's one of those things where we have to, like, when we're getting B-roll and stuff, we kind of just gotta, like, just shoot anonymously and hidden to try to get what we need, because it's a lot harder to get something real if people know that we're shooting. But it's cool. I've been enjoying it. This is our I think last week on this, doing interviews this week, and I'm excited to see where it goes. But I wanted to ask you, this is completely unrelated. Last week for movie news, I wanted to bring up and forgot. And this is more just, I think it's like fan fiction casting, but the Mario movie got casted.
Oh my god.
It is. I just wanted to know your thoughts on it.
This is barely worthy to grace Best Boys.
I said that's big news move.
It is not. It is not. It is meme. It is only worthy for the meme of it. Yeah, we will not be doing the Mario movie on the podcast. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Rip that Band-Aid off right now. But yeah, Chris Pratt has been cast as the titular character of Mario, and I know Danny DeVito is cast as Bowser.
No, Jack Black is Bowser.
That's it. Not Danny DeVito. They wanted Danny DeVito. Jack Black is Bowser, and Charlie Day is Luigi, and who's Seth Rogen? Toad.
He's Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong. Yeah,
Keegan Michael
wow.
Key is
That
Toad.
that tells you how much I
Uh,
gave a shit about this. Um,
yeah. I would say the one really good casting though, Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. I think is a good one.
I
But
bet he's barely gonna even be in it. Do you think Cranky Kong's gonna have
probably.
a big role? And it's don't get snow dogged.
Oh,
Don't get snow dogged.
I'm preparing to get Jumanji'd. I'm like the new Jumanji where they're just people in other people's bodies. It has to be that. Because it's like I can't see any of those guys trying to do like the actual
I could see
character.
them doing it. They could be doing Lego Batman. That's what I heard. That was the vibe that they were going for. It was the Lego Batman. So it was like comical and voices that don't really go with it.
Yeah.
Also a little bit like the Sonic movie, but Sonic the guy they casted
like
was actually sounds like Sonic. He actually makes a good Sonic. John Ralphio.
But I just thought the casting was so ridiculous. It's like you had to talk about it.
Yes, yeah, it was worth mentioning for the memes. Absolutely.
It's so nuts. I don't know. It's either gonna
I
be.
probably am not gonna see it. I'm probably not gonna see it. Maybe afterwards, maybe, but definitely not in theaters. No,
I'm gonna be there. Me and 100 kids.
yeah. Well, I think I'm just like over Chris Pratt, man.
I am too.
I liked him so much in the Guardians, the first one and the second one too, and then it was just like, man, I just got tired of seeing him. And it's like, all right, I think once you get like a certain level of popular and you're in everything for a certain amount of time, it's just like you've kind of worn your welcome for a little while. You need to cool off.
He does a very similar character in every movie he's in.
That's very true. But yeah, that's about all I gotta say on that.
Yeah, that's it. That's my one piece of news I wanted to bring up.
One piece. Yeah, I don't really have much. There's a lot of movies coming out. Our schedule is full through the rest of the year with new movies. We're gonna be pairing them with classics where we can. That it starts, with what last week we didn't. So the last week was probably the last episode of old movies for a while with just old ones. Do you think we should start with the new flick or the older one?
I guess they're two completely different, so I feel like you can just go either way.
All right, I think we should start with Titane. Well,
Titane. I kept calling it Titan and Titane, and now I feel so bad.
Titane. Well, it's French for titanium. That's what the title is. So that would be understandable. I don't know how to pronounce the last name of the director, but it is directed by Julia Ducournau. That is my shot in the dark, my French shot in the dark. It was distributed by Neon. Are you familiar with Neon?
Didn't they do Pig?
Yeah, I think so. They did Parasite. I know that. They're very similar to A24.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to be the new. Now that A24 has gotten real big, these are the new small guys.
Give me a little description, a synopsis of Titane.
Oh God! All right. Well, the spoiler-free version is a girl is in a car. A girl who's kind of being a little a bad kid is gets in a car wreck with her dad and has to get a titanium plate put into her head, and then she just goes. They flash forward. She's an adult and she's like a car dancer, and then she just starts like doing wild shit and has sex with a car, and then you just kind of that's like the tone for the first half. But then the second half of the movie just becomes a completely different thing, because she goes on a killing spree and then ends up in this situation with this older man, pretending to be his long lost son, and then it becomes, instead of a movie about a girl who had sex with a car and got pregnant, then just becomes a movie about like a father longing for just like his son or someone to be his son figure. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. But It is a weird ride.
I would definitely characterize this as a movie within a movie.
Yeah.
There is a Cronenberg, a weird body horror, crazy ass Cronenberg-esque fucking freak show, and then coupled with the serial killing and everything. It's very hyper violent, black movie, black comedy, I would say. Not at first,
yeah,
but it becomes quite evident that it's a black comedy, and then it becomes about something else. Few months ago, I watched a documentary about this guy who was like in Europe. He's a pathological liar, and he would look at missing persons things, like about kids who've been missing for like decades, and he would say that he's that kid, and so that he can prey upon the family's grief of their lost kid, and he. And like they would be in denial about it. They wouldn't want to even challenge it, just like this guy. I think they had to be inspired by that story when they wrote that. So like there's that inside, and it's funny because there's the gender play aspect of this that is different. Gender's definitely a big part of it, with our main character having to pose as the son. She breaks her nose. She does a lot of there's a lot of shocking, hard to watch moments in this movie.
Yeah.
I was like looking away. I had my hat over half of my face and like one eyeing.
Yeah.
A couple of scenes.
Was mine. The nipple
what
piercing.
Scene?
The nipple piercing.
Oh yeah, that was hard. Yeah, there's a lot of shock in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was good, but then all of a sudden it gets less shocking and just more of a slice of life story. It's a weird slice of life story, but it's definitely like I could just see a movie about this, where just like someone on the run or down on life lies and pretends to be somebody else, and then like I think that's what makes this so interesting and special, is that it's like. This could have just been this movie, but you crank this shit up to 11. The kitchen sink is thrown, not in terms of maybe budget, but like in like grand effects, but like the ideas are just like nothing is on the cutting room floor. We are doing this. This car is fucking this serial killer stripper, and she's gonna live with this steroid addicted fire captain and a fire hall and pretend to be a boy, his son and a boy, while she is pregnant with the car's baby.
Yep. But the thing about this movie is like you don't the whole car pregnancy thing ends up not being really like
it's more of a motif than a narrative point of the film.
I feel like it's more of like it came off, at least that originally to me, it's just like a red herring to get people in the seats, but the real movie is just about the girl and this dad.
I don't feel that way. I think it's more symbolic. And like there's obviously with the threats, the rape threats, you could easily have made this about a rape baby, a product of rape, that's a product of rape. Or something like that, but this is very consensual. She was definitely she definitely consented to this sexual relation with this vehicle. It's wild. I don't know what to make of it.
Once she starts murking people, like the car thing other than the fact that she's pregnant, but like the car thing just kind of goes away until like towards the end of the movie where she fucks the fire truck out of nowhere. It just that to me it just felt very jarring. It just felt like a moment. It was like, hey, just don't forget this girl fucks cars.
It's like I think it's gotta be. I don't know what it's trying to say with it, but it's very evocative, and it is very. I kind of really think it's interesting narrative wise. To do that. And this movie's not painfully long. It's an hour and 44 minutes.
It felt longer than Killing of the Sacred Deer to me.
I thought there was like a point in about 2/3 of the way through where I wasn't sure when it was going to end, like around when that firefighter kid blows up. I was like, how far are they gonna go? And like once it was figured out by the guy's ex-wife, that she is a woman, I didn't know how much time was left and how far they were gonna go and where they were gonna go. Like, were they gonna? I was worried about a possible sexual relationship between the guy and the girl, and it's strange. This movie is very much about a lonely man also. A wild, crazy woman bonding with a very lonely, sad man. So to explain the character, what I'm looking up his name. Vincent. So Vincent is a fire captain, and he's aging. He's probably in his, I would say, 50s, mid 50s, at the very, I would say latest, like late 50s, early 60s. And he takes steroids because his strength is fading. To like kind of stem off the loss of strength as he gets old. And there's these hard scenes of watching him inject himself with steroids, and there's bruises on his ass. You see his ass, and like when you're not supposed to clench your muscles when you inject something, and that's why he's got those bruises.
He intentionally seems to be clenching.
Yeah, well, he mentions later on in the film when he asks her to help him that like when he twists, it makes his muscles his muscles clench, and then he bruises. But we did see his straight up like flexing his ass cheeks when he was doing it the one time.
He was frog button as hard as he could.
Yeah. Frog button. I love the lighting in those scenes because it's so red.
Oh, yeah.
It's so red. I was like, man, I didn't notice how fucking red this guy looks. Like he does roids, and then he's about to do roids. It was, oh my god, the lighting in this film is phenomenal.
I would say that the second half of the movie, like when you get to Vincent and on, it just becomes a way more beautiful movie than the first half. It is so like
I think it's beautiful in the beginning. The car show is really slick looking.
It was, I thought it was cool as a oneer, but I don't, it didn't really blow me away other than just being like that. I just kept thinking of Real Steel, of just how like that you have that stage lighting that's like moving around a bunch.
I really liked in the beginning sequence that like they showed our main character walk into the place, and then we lost her in the crowd, and then all of a sudden we're like watching an ass dance and legs dance, and it slowly reveals that it was her at the end. And I didn't like really figure it out until the performance was over, and I was like, wow, that was so cool, because I didn't see the scars.
She dips in and out. Like you follow her jacket, she dips in and out for that whole, because that opening scene is a one shot for those who I guess haven't seen it. Meaning like it's just one continuous take. And it is I was just tracking every time she'd fall in and out, and then once you got to like we are actually like really holding on one of the car dancers, then it was like, all right, this is her, and then you see the scar and stuff, and just it just makes sense. But I don't know, that for some reason I just didn't, that scene didn't catch me nearly as much as like the fire scene whenever he hands the dude the propane tank and he explodes. Like I thought the way that they did the lighting on that scene, where you have like the heavy moonlight through the fog on one side and the orange
from all the flames,
and it's just, nice blue like key light with the red orange backlight. I just thought it looked really pretty.
I don't know. I didn't have an issue at the beginning. I felt I think it was trying to capture a vibe and like underground car show vibe. And like there's definitely in the symbolism with something about like sex, and the men need to stare at sexy women to hide the fact that they're getting horny over each other's cars. Like there's like subconscious like sexual power in these vehicles. I don't know if it's masculinity or what, or it's kind of like how like a horse or something, you know, like the power.
They are muscle cars.
Yeah, they're muscle cars. The one that she's on has this really tacky flame. I like it. Like it's so tacky, it's cool, you know, one of those things. It's like they're not drawn on flames, it's straight up like photo photorealistic looking flames, and it's really cheesy cool. And yeah, and then after the car show leaves, she gets a fan. She has fans. She must be so good, and one of them tries to rape her after, and she kills him, and that's what I'm starting to put together. Like, she is way casual about murdering this guy, but like, good for her, whatever. Like, he tried to rape her, and then I'm like, whoa, she's really casual about disposing this body. Like, I thought she was just gonna leave him here, and I was like, she's really like knows what she's already gonna do, and I saw already my wheels were turning. And then when we got to the her parents' house, and the newscast, and it was slowly revealing about murders, and then then they kept showing that missing boy, and I'm like, where is this missing boy gonna come back? Like, they keep showing the missing boy, and it's not obvious where it's headed. And so then you figure it out that she's the murderer. And the sequence of her on the date with the other dancer, and
to me at first, like, it still doesn't
really.
Like,
why?
Because like she's
a serial killer. She's just a serial killer. She kills people for no reason.
I just felt like there needed to be, like, the other one, I understood the reason, the attempted rape, but this one was just like they're about to have sex, and then she goes too far, and then like that rejection is enough to just
I think she was gonna kill them already. I think she was gonna kill her already, and it was about like, cause that they, in the scenes before, they established that there is a serial killer, and you're not fully sure that it's her yet, but then you get to a point where you're like, oh, she is the serial killer. And then after she kills the one girl, she, there's a roommate in the house, and she has to, I gotta kill this roommate, and she finds out there's another roommate in the house, and there's another person in the house, another person in the house.
Those deaths make sense to me, though. It just felt like this one, it just, there needed, like,
she's a serial killer. That's what they established in the previous scene. Like, a serial killer does not need a motive. Serial killer does not need a motive to kill somebody if they just kill people.
I feel like usually there's some form of trigger that sets it up for that first, like, to go, and then obviously after the first girl's dead, the rest of the ones make sense for witness purposes. But yeah, I don't know.
That's what they were doing. In the previous scene, they established that she's a serial killer, which then that's explains why she just randomly murders her in the following scene. That's what it's supposed to be. Like, I get it.
I don't think it works as well.
I didn't have a problem with it at all. I didn't have an issue with it at all. Didn't even think about it.
It's from as soon as it happened, I just kept saying, like, this is, I feel like I just took it as like maybe she just the like rejection of like the pain thing, because she wanted to bite off the nipple ring, and that was just like,
I just like, how many serial killers, like, does Michael Myers need a reason to kill a random person?
No, but it's a slasher film. That's not, this is
why but you're putting it in a box, like, that you right there, because this movie doesn't fit in that box, it can't have a character that randomly kills somebody.
I don't know. It just seemed unmotivated, I guess.
But do you understand that serial killer doesn't need to have a motivation other than their own drive to kill people? It's an addiction to murder.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
so it's just like, why would somebody need to go buy drugs, or why would somebody want to eat? They just want to kill somebody.
That would be the same as eating, but
addiction. Addiction.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when you introduce the character, you don't set her up as just murdering for no reason, like, because it's set up with the guy, like, killing because it even looks like,
because it wants you to figure it out. It wants you to like, your brain to work a little bit and figure it out. That's not spoon feeding it to you.
I mean, doesn't need spoon fed, but I don't know. It's just, it didn't work for me.
I heavily disagree. All right. So yeah, and I thought the serial killer scene was probably the best scene in the whole movie.
It's a great scene, phenomenal scene. Once you get in, like, her just like killing everybody,
like, from the making out, the nipple biting, and all that from the very beginning. Like, this was the best scene in the whole movie. I kind of thought there'd be more like this. Just with like, it was not action, but like, shit was happening. I'm like, wow, this is moving fast. And the movie really slows down after this.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was want to say, like, the deaths in that house scene though were done super cool. Like I mean, it's cool, but it's death. But the way she kills the dude with the chair and then just plops right onto the chair and sits on it, like to like take a breather before realizing that there's other people in the house. Like, I don't know. I thought it was very creatively done. And
I love that this is so what makes it so different is like how she's a woman obviously, and she's like slender and but she just like overpowers people and kicks ass.
mm,
um and like there's like a scene where there's a man and she has like the man's overpowering her, but she's able to just like weasel out of it and grabs a stool and just fucks him up. um
mm,
and I thought that there's definitely something there with like this, like she's not I think that's what they established with the rape scene, is that she is not somebody that is one to fuck with, but
mm,
two, she could take care of herself. Beyond that, like in terms of physically, she's not afraid to take somebody larger than her on, because she's murdered. It's established
mm.
that she's murdered many people already.
Yeah, I felt bad for the Jerome guy though. He was like trying to be like caring. It was like, all right, like what's going on or whatever.
They
And
did invite her to her. I think that when he invited her to his bed, that was when it was like, whoa. Like he was trying to like use it to get into bed with her. Which
oh, I
is
took it as just I thought he said that you can use my bed if you want, as in like you can sleep here if you need to.
oh
But like I didn't take it as like
no, I think
inviting
he
to sleep.
meant I think you can sleep like you can sleep with me. I've been in situations like that where people do shit like that. Like not that it's like not like that it's horrible to offer
Mm,
that, but it is like, I think there is an ulterior motive there. So that was like I didn't feel 100% bad at that point, but I did feel, he didn't deserve to die.
yeah,
He did not deserve to
I read it
die.
as him just being a nice guy. Like, here, you can take my room, like or whatever. And then she just
I
stabs
don't.
him in the fire poker.
Yeah, I
I
don't
was just
think I don't think that's what that was, but yeah, that's yeah, that I whatever. That was cool. I liked it. Um
like,
yeah.
cool. And then, but moving after this, when she like starts going on to the like going on the lamb, and when the tonal shift starts happening, well, I guess right before the tonal shift, she's running through. She gets in a cab, to like try to run away or whatever. She gets towards the airport, and there's like the police everywhere, and then she sees the missing thing of the boy again.
Oh, and we also skipped. She finds out that she's pregnant. Her belly.
Oh yeah.
Her belly swells very quickly. And after that, she has sex with the car, and she tries to give herself an abortion with the same hair. Like what she was killing people with earlier was these hair sticks, like chopsticks
Almost
that you
looks like
put in your
South Park.
hair, and long hairpins, and she tried to give herself an abortion with one of those, and that was one of the hardest scenes to watch in the whole movie. And you weren't even seeing it. It was just the fact that you were knowing that it was happening was incredibly
And the
hard to
sound.
watch. Yeah. So rough. I would say from the point that so after she goes to the I thought she was at an airport, but apparently she was
That's what I thought.
or like a bus station or something. That's what I assumed, that's where she was. And then she went into the bathroom, broke her nose, cut her hair, tried to shaved off her eyebrows, and tried to disguise herself. And that's when she sees a thing and turns herself in, and or not turns herself in, but says that she's this lost kid. And the guy was just like, the cop was like, "Don't you want a DNA test?" And then like Vincent was just like, "No, you don't think I know my own son?" And that's when the movie, I would say that's the point where the
Yes,
movie changes and now
I agree.
becomes it becomes a very not slow. I hate to use that
No,
word,
yeah,
but
I thought it was slow.
not in a
From
bad
in
way though. Not It just becomes a slice of life film. Very much a slice of life movie. About the story of them bonding, and you see her body a lot. There's so much nudity in this movie. Pretty
yeah,
constant.
yeah. There's certain stuff that I think is justified nudity, like the even as far as like the car sex scene where she's just wandering around that warehouse naked, like, and all of the pregnancy stuff where she's fully naked. I think that is like it works with it, but then some of the stuff I feel like is just it's. But granted, it's also a foreign film, so it's different. This is what I had to keep.
I mean, I don't. What other nudity? What I mean, what other nudity was there besides everything you just described? It was just that was a lot of the movie.
The whole first half of the movie, there's just it feels like constant sex scenes stuff, and even and it's like it felt a little gratuitous at first, but then the more like artful stuff with where it was just like her pregnant full body naked stuff, I thought was just very interesting because it's forcing you to just take a look at like the raw like anatomy of like pregnancy and things like that. And
I think that's it's forcing you. Well, you're gonna see beautiful naked bodies in the beginning, female bodies, and then you are forced to see the horror of pregnancy, the body horror that is being pregnant. And I think that's what it's trying to do. I don't think it's gratuitous. I think it's just a theme of the film. And this is female directed. It's not like it's it's not a gaze issue or anything like that. I don't think this movie is not like sexualizing or objectifying, unless in the beginning. The only time it's objectifying is in the dancer scene where it's literally meant to. And then you see the beautiful dancers' bodies, and then eventually we see our main character's body morph into something else. And like it's not like all of that was because of this weird car baby. Some of those things are just natural parts of getting pregnant. Just happening faster than normal. There's definitely some fear or just embracing the body horror experience that is being pregnant and having a child.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Because like as you're watching it, just like initial impressions, like because the first half hour of the film, like after the child car crash thing, it is just a lot of sex until the murder house, and then from there on, it becomes very less like sexual and becomes more of like what you were saying. And I think that without like once I got towards like the second half of the film and all that stuff, it felt less like the beginning was gratuitous and more like purposeful. But like
okay, I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying now. I think I misunderstood you. So it like made it so its importance in the first half made sense. Okay, I think I got that because I think the way I think I thought the beginning, the way that was shot was. Maybe that was the reason why it was shot a little more.
Because it's fairly graphic when it does do the sex scene stuff like that. Like it's very rare you get to see like the, like that intense of nipple play, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it.
And there's a lot of like we don't see, there's a lot of up close vaginas that are barely covered through like sheer panties or or like holes in them or something. It was very flirting with the line of what you can show in terms of full frontal. I thought it was interesting. We don't see they purposely. I thought they were going to show Vincent's penis.
I thought so too. On the one,
and I think it was purposeful.
Yeah, there's the one scene specifically where our lead is Alexia, who then goes by Adrian in the second half of the film. Adrian goes to help him when he asked him to help him with the steroid, and that was the shot I thought we were finally going to see it, because you pull
see that hug,
you see his old man V that he's got going.
Dude's cut for old man,
but then he doesn't pull it down. But it would obviously be weird if he pulled his dick out in front of his like pseudo son. But I would actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to talk about the whole Kylie brought up a thing to me afterwards where, do you think he knew that wasn't his son the whole time, but just really wanted it to be?
So,
or do you think he?
So once we get to about 2/3 in, I think the movie starts to posit that, because people start challenging him, and he's just straight up like, "I don't care if you aren't my son." And I think there's a point in the film he's already accepted that, and he just says, "I don't care if you aren't my son. I'm gonna love you anyway."
Yeah. The why I bring it up is because Kylie brought up when they're doing the fire training scene and he has the vision of the burning child inside the cabinet.
Yeah.
She said, Kylie brought up that what if that is a memory of his son where their house burned down and he didn't check there and he knows his son is actually dead but is just put missing, and so that this whole time is just a fantasy to fill him
I I
for
think I think it could be something like that. Maybe not all those details, but in a vaguer sense.
yeah,
That he's filling the void for how the guilt that he has for losing this kid, and he's lonely. He wants to take care of somebody, but it's also very evident that he needs taking care of himself. And when his ex-wife comes and figures it out, she's like, "I'm not gonna say anything if you promise to take care of him." There's very much this mutual. I know that's honestly why Alexia doesn't leave. Is she's trying to leave for a while, and she finds out how pathetic and how pathetic he is, and how much help he needs, and how he shouldn't be left alone, and that is ultimately what makes her stay. He at one point he overdoses on steroids, tries to kill himself. And she's there. She doesn't really like stop it, but she's just observing and making sure he doesn't die.
She holds them on her like in the bathroom, like sitting together. But it's wild to me just because like she kills her parents and burns their house down and has zero empathy for it. But like this man in his situation,
I thought that was interesting too. There's something there and maybe it's something speaking about human condition of there are people in this world that have no like feelings for their own family, like they have disconnect and they feel nothing for their own family, but they will be very passionate about others, like strangers, or like caring for strangers. And maybe it's something about that, or she's learning, or when it's her character's developing empathy maybe throughout. She's also experiencing pregnancy, which is an emotional experience. So maybe there's something there. And then the old man very much feels like a baby at points. But also like, there's very much this dichotomy of like man and son, mother and daughter, mother and son, like father and son, daughter, mother and son, but also the mother is the mother is a son at the same time. Like, there's something in there with all of that, with the familial relationships, and how maybe in like you don't need to be blood related to be family. There's probably something in there about that. I really enjoyed the slice of life. It just, I had to like reconfigure my expectations. One, because the beginning was like, I was like action, murder, more scenes with shit happening, and then it just like once she got settled, it became about something else, and I just wasn't prepared for that. Thank you for the follow, Chilled Pater.
I had a hard time wrestling with that. And I saw it yesterday, like morning, like the earliest show, because I knew it was going to be something I wanted to stew on. And the longer it sat with me, I've liked it more. But my initial like first coming out of the theater was just like, you went from something that was like I was into, like from the murder house and everything. It's like this is exactly what I thought this movie was going to be, and then it just becomes, it puts the car thing, other like it keeps pregnancy there, but mostly has something to hide, and then the side effects. But it puts the car thing onto a complete side, and it just like really hits the brakes. But like I liked this, and I like this more, I think, than the first half. After sitting on it for a bit, and I almost feel like you could have gotten away with the whole car thing, but kept it be the same plot, and it would work just as well. And I almost kind of feel like it's, unless I'm missing like a big metaphor or symbolism for it, which I probably am. It felt like the weirdness was propping it up to get you into the theater, and then once that you got your taste of what you wanted, this is what this movie's really about. And I kind of wish. No,
I don't think. That's a cynical way to look at it. I don't think this person This isn't like a movie. This isn't this isn't a mass media movie. This isn't. It's not really intended to sell popcorn. It's an art piece.
No. I mean it more like
this is an art festival movie.
It's like a subverting of expectations.
Yeah.
Yes. This is probably because when you hear the synopsis, you're thinking, oh, B movie, fucking like not actual B movie, but like B movie style plot where this is gonna just be how the first half of the movie is, where I'm just expecting ridiculousness. And I kind of wish the movie was more of the second half of the movie.
I think that's what makes it special. I think what you're describing, I don't think it was a marketing, because like sometimes with A24 movie, like the Green Knight, where people they think that the Green Knight is going to be like Lord of the Rings or something, and they find out that it is a slow burn, slow burn flick. And I think the movie itself. Itself, not the synopsis, not the poster or the poster is about the car. The synopsis is the first line is about the car, because that does set up the film. But I agree that it is meant to subvert. Like you're getting a more exciting, or not exciting, a more exciting film. Not that a film has to be like a non-exciting film can't be good. It's just it has a lot of energy. It's raw, it's gritty, and it's moving at a pace. Things are happening, and then like you said, all of a sudden she settles into this new life, and it's like the new life is like a new movie.
Yeah.
And that is really special. It's like Lost Highway, like this kind of made me think about Lost Highway with the movie within the movie thing. That is much more, it's like it's tied closely together with this, and it's like an obvious alternative, like this fantasy on top of this guy's reality, whereas this is one reality, one movie. But the style of the film is so contained, and it's not like, because you have movies that are multi-genre, and it's just multi-genre, like things are happening throughout. It's horror, it's comedy, it's action, it's drama, or it's a thriller. This is like segmented. It starts out as a Cronenberg movie, then it becomes a slice of life film that kind of reminded me of like Amelie. I think Amelie is in this movie's DNA, and not just because of the French, but the French, they're both being French, but the opening sequence is very much like Amelie's opening. With like they show her as a little girl and growing up, and why she's weird. Well, this is why I'm quirky, except for it's darker. And
way quicker.
It's quicker. But I reminded me of that. And then now the movie's about the grown up little girl who's quirky and crazy. It's like and I think it's an interesting play on the manic pixie dream girl almost. Because Amelie is always considered one of the stereotypical ones, like Ramona Flowers, Amelie, stereotypical manic pixie dream girls. And this is like flips that on its head. Like this is like a manic pixie dream girl, but she's not your dream girl. She's a fucking manic pixie nightmare. And I think that there's a subversion there. This is extremely creative. Whether it works for you as entertainment, I think is very subjective. I could see people being upset about the subversion of what gets set up in the first act, and like having expectations are a bitch. Like expectations will really, if you have your mind set one way and you get something different, and even though it's good, you're not going to register it as good because it wasn't what you thought it was. That's
why I go into these movies blind. It's because of that, like exact thing. I don't want a what's the word?
Conception.
I don't want a preconception of I want to say deposition for some reason, but I don't think that's the right word.
No, I don't think so. It's a word. I don't think it's the right one.
Yeah, I just didn't wanna I didn't wanna have an idea in my head of just, like, of what it was going to be because I feel like that is a huge issue, like you were saying, of modern stuff. Everybody wants to know exactly what they're getting into ahead of time. People are afraid to just break out and just try something new.
And just go for
Um,
the ride. I think
yeah.
film is very much a, and I've learned this even more just since we've been doing this. I had to do this for the Green. I did this for the Green Knight, and I enjoyed it so much more by doing this.
Yeah, I think I've done the last, like, 6 movies we've done just completely blind, and it's great. I have no, like,
and just
uh
enjoying this journey, and I'm
yeah,
not in a rush to get to the end, or like, when's the end coming, when's the end coming. And sometimes that's going to happen naturally if the
mhm,
movie's not pacing well or whatever, but I don't
yeah.
know.
But what I wanted to say was about the I think it's just that I like the second half of this so much more. It just made me want more of her character development, like her more backstory, what got her into like her thing, and just she's a mute almost the entire second half of the movie. She's a mute, and I just want to hear more of what's going on inside her head and all that stuff. And rather than like, while Murder House is cool and the serial killer aspect of it's cool and the car fucking is cool, I want to know why. You know, I want to know what's going through her head. The second half of the movie made me want that, like leaving the theater,
Well,
and I think
she's a very closed off person
yeah,
even before she becomes mute. She's obviously very closed off from her family. She's closed off from people she works with. She doesn't seem to have. She's even has problems with intimacy,
mm,
um, and I think that that's a part of her character development for her is opening up and having empathy, learning empathy.
mm,
I think is a big part for her character. Um, I think that's what I'm just back what I was saying about how creative this movie is. I think when I initially walked out, I think the only thing I don't have anything to dock it because it's just it's experience, and it might not be your preferred experience, and I think that's a valid feeling to walk away from it. But this is a really creative film in the medium in terms of its themes, its genres, its perspective. Um,
mm.
I like it. Like I thought it was put together really well. Um, the uh, the only thing I had to say negative wasn't about anything in particular. Just I didn't really walk away with any kind of emotional feeling. I didn't really have it like my favorite movies on this list. I usually have some kind of emotional impact. I feel something, whether I cry or I feel joy or excitement.
Or just
I
sticks in your brain for
uh,
days.
uh, this movie I could see sticking in my brain. It already has, so maybe that's it. But maybe that's enough, you know. But I had I didn't like feel like I was resonating emotionally with it. I was just interested in its themes, and I was very impressed by its creativity, and I enjoyed it. I felt like I could see somebody giving this a 5. I could see somebody like even that liked it, like giving it from anywhere from a 3.5 to a 5. That actually walked away and like understood that it was a good movie, but maybe
Mm.
not at various levels of resonation.
Yeah, so Kylie said, like, she understands it's, like, a good art film, but she hated this. We left the theater, and she just did not like this movie at all, and I totally understand it. And my initial walk away was, I was like, "Man, I didn't like the pacing, because of that, like, because of the tonal shift, I feel like it came on too abrupt, and then it lasted." I felt like the second half, while now looking back on it, I enjoyed it more than the first half. The second half felt long, like, right before the around the dancing on the fire truck scene is about when I was like, "This feels long for an hour and 48 minutes." Um, but
By that point, I was like, there's can't be very much left. Like, she's gonna have this baby, and like that
yeah.
sequence was a little longer than I thought it was gonna be. Um, but there was a point where I was like, it felt I thought it was gonna be ending soon, and there was there was
Mhm.
like the dancing scene was honestly the extra scene that I like. like that was what made it like I start to notice that I thought it was going to end soon and it wasn't.
Because right after the dancing scene, she fucks the fire truck that night.
It's really
Which,
quick. That's not
yeah,
very
I
long.
I didn't understand. And forgive me for this, but I didn't understand why that happened again. Like, Kylie said that sometimes you're supposed to have sex to help get a baby delivery going quicker.
Oh, that's probably what it is. I guarantee that's what it is. I've heard of that too. That makes sense. That makes
that
perfect
made
sense.
When I was watching, I'm just like,
and she just wanted to fuck. She just wanted to fuck another vehicle, I guess. Well, maybe because she thought she had to fuck a vehicle because the baby is a car baby.
What they say about 40 rims.
Yeah, I still don't know how I want to score it. I think I initially gave it a 4.5, and then I thought that like I didn't have like I said the emotional impact that would come with a film of that caliber for me. But does it need to? And is it just because is it because I'm a man? Is it because I'm or is it just like what or American or no? I'm like there's just reasons why you might not connect with something that other people would, and it doesn't mean that it's not good. It's not good or not great or not even perfect. I don't know. I still don't know how I want to score it. How are you gonna score it? That might help me.
When I walked out of the theater, I was like, "This is a 2.5."
Oh
that's
my
weird.
god!
Hold on.
My god! I know. It's hard.
This is a 2.5 whose weirdness has propped it up to a 3 for me. But after letting it stew for a day and like talking about it and stuff, I'm more in like a 3.5. I liked it, but I have some problems with it. I still feel like the car thing. I don't get it, and I feel like this movie could have been just as good without it, and I would have been less like
I think
worried
the car
about what the point of it is.
I think the car so you got to ask yourself with art, does this add or take it away? Because in the sense of less is more, more is more, whatever is more. Does this add to the piece? Does this make the piece more special, or gimmicky or whatever? I don't know.
I feel like it's like a weird thing to like just to set the tone of just like how weird and wild the first half is, but based on the second half, they could have just been her pregnant from anything.
I don't think this movie would be as special without it. I genuinely think that, because that shit is what gets people talking about it, and then you start to reflect. It could have been. It didn't have to be a car. It could have been a monster. It could have been like a creature. It could have been. She could have been having some kind of baby that was a hybrid of something else. Some other inanimate object.
I guess, but did it need to be?
The themes I think are related. The vehicles, the car show, the dancing, the flames, the flames of the car, the firefighting. There is definitely connective tissue here with the vehicle itself. I don't understand it all fully, but I think I can, in my personal opinion, I think the opening sets the tone and the style of the film, and I think that when it's about the metal plate in her head, that's her affinity with the thing made of metal. She's like partially made of metal, and her baby is a metal skull and spine. So like there's
that are protruding from its skin.
Yeah, like so there's something there with she's part metal, sex with a vehicle that is all metal and makes a metal baby, a half like I don't know what the proper word would be, but like a baby that is part human and part vehicle.
Like a cyborg baby.
I think it's cool. Terminator baby. I think it's cool. I think the only thing that's stopping me.
Cool.
I think the only thing that's stopping me from giving it a super high score is, like I said, like 4.5 and up is I didn't feel a lot from it. Annette made me feel a lot. Annette was batshit crazy. Annette was batshit crazy and long, but I felt a lot from it.
As someone who hates musicals, I think this made me like Annette more, just for the fact that it was it was cohesive. It was more cohesive, I think.
But Annette
Versus
felt. I don't I like that.
that did feel long. That did feel long, but
This isn't meant to feel like. It's meant to feel jarring, but in a way that works. Like this is meant to do that. The expectations are supposed to be getting fucked with, and it's just like, how do you feel about that? Like how do you feel about the creator fucking with you to that degree? And I think some people walk away when that happens. They get mad. And not you, but like we said, Green Knight. You look at reviews for the Green Knight, and you will exactly understand what we're talking about.
That was such a good movie too.
It's just expectations and subjective taste, and I don't like. And maybe if those people came into it understanding what it was going to be, that in the just the way that we would, maybe they would like it, or maybe it's just not their thing. It's not a Marvel movie, it's not a Star Wars movie, or whatever. It's not Lord of the Rings, and it doesn't mean. And that's the other thing I'm gonna say this because I know I dog on normie shit a lot on this show. It is okay to only like Marvel shit or mainstream shit or whatever. This show is about personal growth and exploration of a wide world of the medium and learning for our own creation and art, and just experience this. But it's okay to watch Marvel shit. It's okay to like Disney or some corporate stuff. But I just say challenge yourself. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. Because like that stuff, like if it was bad, it wouldn't be popular with the entire world. It's good. It's just good in its own way. These are just like these are good for a different way. Anybody who wants to like it'd be like a music file who's listening to very like more obscure stuff, but because they have more of appreciation for the craft and the art form and stuff like that, it's a different kind of appreciation and love for it.
Oh, there's just there's pop, mainstream pop that is artful and good. There's mainstream pop that is basic and still good. And then there is mainstream pop that is super, super popular just for some like weird, low common denominator reason. But popularity is still something, I think that this song sucks, but everyone loves it and it's stuck in my head. So what does that say? What does that say about that song? That's the what you deal with consuming media in the modern age. But all right, we need to move on.
Yes, I'm giving this a 3.5.
I'm giving it a 4. I was going to give it a 4.5, and just in this conversation, I think that I will only be doing that just based off of seeing how other people reacted to it. I'm seeing and as far as the people that I follow on the thing, I'm not going to read off scores like we did in the old days, but before we move on, I just remember seeing a lot of like 5s. Oh no, I only saw one score. Carson Runquist gave it a 5. And I
think it's got an 80% or an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes with an 84 audience score.
I don't fuck with Rotten Tomatoes. I don't fuck with Rotten Tomatoes.
I just like looking at the audience score because I'm very curious as to where the audience lies versus like a bunch of
I don't like. I think the audience score on there is not. I guess it's more.
Because that's your average Joe score.
It just gets there's a lot of bombing and effects. Like it's affected by a lot of that being a normie aggregator. Letterboxd has it at a 3.8. Most people gave it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. So I feel justified there. You said you gave it a 3.5?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah,
I'm sitting there.
All right. Let's move on.
All right. This is a movie I've been waiting to watch for a long time.
Yeah, you've been asking to watch this.
And you know what? It met exactly what it lived up to expectations.
I was worried because it is not, and this is a movie that you could have expectations of, even if you saw Yorgos Lanthimos' other film, The Lobster.
The only thing I saw was The Lobster, and I didn't know what this movie is about. You told me what this movie was about a while ago, but I forgot and just didn't look it up. And I just knew that it's the same guy as The Lobster, and it's Colin Farrell again, and I'm ready. And I loved it. This was great.
So the best way. I forgot to mention about Titane. It was the winner of the Palme d'Or in the most recent Cannes, which is
it won at
it
Cannes?
won. Yeah, it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes.
Wow.
Which I just reminded because Killing a Sacred Deer was selected to compete for the Palme d'Or, but it did not win. Yeah, people were going nuts. There was a picture of Spike Lee hugging the director. I wanted to actually, we fucked up. I'm glad you got to watch Killing of the Sacred Deer because you wanted to, but I honestly forgot that Julia Ducournau, she has other good films. Raw from 2016 is supposed to be really good, and I think the actress who played the first girl got murdered, the other dancer, she's I think the lead in that movie. But sorry.
Interesting.
Yeah. But this movie is a lot different than The Lobster. It's got the same deadpan dialogue style. The dialogue style is identical. Obviously, Colin Farrell being there is the connective tissue, the through line. Yeah, I feel like I'm saying the same words today. But it's a much darker. And even though, and it is funny at times, you will laugh a few times in this movie. It is much drier and like slower than that. It's very much ruminates on these decisions and the current situation that this family is in. So yeah, stars Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, Barry Keoghan, Rafi Cassidy, Sonny Suljic, and Alicia Silverstone. So I didn't know if you noticed the little kid Bob. He is from mid '90s.
Yeah, it's from mid '90s. Yeah,
I think he's also in another. He's also in another A24 movie. I think also. I wonder what he's up to. He's got it's a good few years ago. It says he's 16 now.
Wow.
He was in the house with the clock on its walls. No, these are the
but I don't know what it was.
But yeah, never mind. These are the only two movies he was in. Oh no, I know what he was. He is the voice of motion capture for the son from God of War, the new God of War.
Oh no way! He's from Boy. He's the boy in Boy.
Yeah, he's Boy.
Boy 2. I can't wait next year.
Not the movie Boy.
No, the video game. Boy.
This is the movie that was my first introduction to Barry Keoghan, which I raved about his performance in The Green Knight. Steals the show. Colin Farrell's awesome, but Barry Keoghan, who plays Martin, is just a weird motherfucker.
Yeah, this movie I thought did such a good, even though it is very slow, it did such a great job of just making me uncomfortable and settling, but also just wanting more. The entire movie, I just I was like, I can't wait to find out. Like, it's gotta be like, it's so interesting. And then you don't really even get an explanation for things at the end, but I was satisfied with it at the same time. It's just so weird. This kid he does a phenomenal job because the whole time you're just kind of thinking like, oh, is he like special of some kind, or is he just going? He went through trauma from losing his dad or whatever. But then he's just a maniacal bastard, and he does it so good.
So I think the one thing that you need to know about this movie that is it might not add up for you without this is that this is a modern interpretation of a ancient myth. And that's hence the title, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
But wow, so you really enjoyed it despite that? Because for me, I was like, this is so abstract. Like everything happening is it's reality, but it's an abstract story. And once you think about it, it makes sense. Like why, I think the story is like, a man, hunts a deer that was like, a deer of the gods, like the game of the gods or something. And they get punished for it essentially, by killing their family. They have to kill someone from their family or they all die or something like that.
But that makes a lot more sense because my biggest question after this movie was I still don't understand why Nicole Kidman was kissing Martin's feet.
Because he's supposed to be a god. Yeah, he's supposed to be a god.
That's what
Um,
Kylie said too, and I was just like, "Man, I thought it would be a little more than that," but that makes sense.
I think
Knowing what it's based off.
yeah, I think without knowing that it's like you say, what if I didn't tell you that, and then that would be like a little strange, and why did they do that? Or
I just
like
took
you
it
could
as,
put
like,
that together,
groveling
but
to
without knowing it's explicitly is, it's based
yeah.
on the Greek tragedy Iphigenia at Iolus by
Mm,
Euripides.
gotcha. Yeah, Kylie said the God thing, and I was like, I just took it as her, like, maybe trying to, like, grovel, suck up to, like, maybe, like, change his mind or something.
Yeah, and I think
Uh,
that's why it can still work in the literal.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, it's slow. Everyone in the cast is excellent, even the kids. Both
Mhm.
children are great. The daughter is excellent.
Oh,
Um,
she was so frustrating, though.
um,
In the middle part of the movie. She was so frustrating
like what
because
do you
it's just
mean?
like 'cause, she's falling in love with Martin, and then apparently she gives it away that she like knows Martin's plan, and she's like all for it still, and it's cool because she's like, "Well, it's okay. Bob's gonna get killed, not me." And I'm just like, "How are you okay with this? This dude is insane."
Yeah, she's definitely like. I think Martin's like convinced her that this is just, that this has to
Yeah,
happen for what
your dad
her
is.
dad did. And it isn't revealed right away. It's about a third of the way through the movie, almost halfway, that that Colin Farrell's character Steven was drinking while he performed though he performed surgery on Martin's dad. Um, and it's not explicit. I don't. It's not like fully explicit if that was the cause or not. But
Mm,
Martin seems convinced with his supernatural power.
yeah,
Um, honestly, the weirdest scene is when he wants to get Colin Farrell to fuck his mom, who's played by
yeah.
Alicia Silverstone of Batman and Robin fame.
Oh wow, she looks so different. I didn't even realize that was her.
She got older
Not even just from the order. She just looked like I didn't even realize that was the same person.
and clueless.
Wow. That is wow. That's a good movie. But did not realize that. But um the um what were you gonna say before Clueless?
I don't know. It was your turn to talk about
Oh.
something.
Oh, but that scene was super weird though, with the whole like, here, we'll watch this movie. I'm getting tired. I'll go to bed. I'll leave you two. And then like throughout the rest of the movie from that point on, this whole theme of just doctor's hands being so nice and beautiful keeps coming up, and she just starts like kissing his hands. And it's one of those things where it's like, is this gonna be one of those movies where Colin Farrell is just like gonna be like that guy or what? But he's just like, nope, I'm out, dips. Um, but I was gonna say the weirdest scene for me was the Nicole Kidman jerking off her husband's colleague.
It's
Uh,
very. I thought that was honestly that was the only thing that was felt forced to me. It
yeah.
didn't feel like necessary, and it didn't like. Why would this guy just take a hand job?
Well, she says right before it happens, she has the line that's
I
like, "Here,
give you
I'll give you
this
what you
what you
didn't get
didn't get,
at lunch."
and like I thought that, and like what was he referring to? Like from his wife, what you did get from your wife.
I took it as we
Um,
didn't get her. Like, what do they have a secret, like a thing going on the
no,
side?
no, there was they had a scene earlier in the movie where they all had lunch at his house.
Yeah.
And the wife was there. They're referring to, I think, not getting it from his wife.
Mm,
I think there's a line somewhere in that scene about something like that. That's like beating her, like joking, beating around the bush.
yeah. But yeah, that one was very weird, but it also was it made the of who was that really at fault for the thing kind of go back up in the air because earlier in the movie he's like she's like, was it your fault? And he's like, no, it's never the surgeon's fault. It's only the
Yeah, the
anesthesiologist.
anesthesiologist, and
And
that's
then
what
when
that guy was.
yeah, and then he's getting jerked off and he's like, no, anesthesiologists can never make a mistake. It's only the surgeons who kill people. So it's like that blame shift. But I would say it's probably the surgeon, especially if they're drinking. It's probably because they're in the lead.
I
Aren't
think
they?
it's pretty. It seems the divine have decided that
Yeah.
it was his fault. Um, Yeah, it's like there's like not a lot. Well, the say. I mean, I guess we didn't really fully explain. So Martin, for revenge for his father being murdered, they've been seeing each other slowly, him and Colin Farrell's character, and I guess it's been increasing. But it gets to a point where he puts a curse basically on his family and says that one by one, each of them are going to have these symptoms. He just straight up exposition dumps, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty funny, actually. I like the way it was done.
Yeah, he
And
delivers it so quick and
yeah,
rushed
it's
too.
really fast. He's like, there it is. Just got it all out there.
Yeah.
And he explains like the symptoms, like first stage they can't walk, then they won't eat, then their eyes bleed, and once their eyes bleed, they don't have much time. And it doesn't happen like first Bob happens, and then the daughter happens, and then the wife doesn't happen until the movie's over, which I thought was strange, like almost over. Like she can walk, and she doesn't have any of the symptoms until
I didn't think she got any symptoms at all.
Till they cut to the end. I thought, because
Like,
don't they show them? Don't they show them all bleeding from? Or no, they kill Bob.
Yeah. They just have. She was like, "I'll put on that nice black dress you like," and then they're all sitting in a circle on the couches with bags over their heads.
Do you think that she knew that Bob was going to get killed? The daughter knew because Martin told her with his divine power
that it was going to be Bob.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was because he just spun in a circle, so it's so you're dizzy and disoriented. I think it was random. Or at least I guess maybe it's intended to feel random for Colin Farrell, so he doesn't feel bad for picking a favorite. But I mean, maybe it could. Now knowing that's, if you wouldn't have told me that he's supposed to be like this god thing, I wouldn't have that. No. Now knowing that might make more sense of why the daughter was more confident.
Yeah, it's her being in love with him and everything. Man, the daughter was so creepy and like just so like confident, but like willing to sacrifice herself for the family after the one scene, and like once they can't walk, they are walking on their arms and dragging their legs, and they're getting all bloodied up. It's fucking hard to watch.
It's interesting though that the scene where she gets up and walks over to the window to look for Martin makes a lot more sense now too, because I just took it as like, because Bob at first he was able to like walk like randomly, and then he like collapsed again the second time, so I figured that was just her, but that makes sense because she keeps saying like at the end of the movie when she's in the basement, she's like, here, just do it again, I'll so I can get up and help you get out and shit.
Yeah, and she starts throwing like tennis balls at him.
Yeah. And like that makes way more sense. I just thought it was like a poison, and he just had like he knew what it was and what antidote or something. But it worked so well. That whole basement scene, which I love that was like a not overly done like art department. That looked like I've been in a friend's basement. It looked like that.
I was thinking about too. I mean, it's definitely like a rich person's house, but it was like an older fancy house. I also thought the same thing. I was like, I've been in a basement that looks like this.
Yeah, like Johnny Gillette's basement was like that. Like where it was just kind of like finished enough, and there's a pool table in there or whatever, but it's not like fancy. It's just a basement. It's good enough that you can put furniture and like have.
And you hang out. You can have people hang out down there, like your kids' friends. That's really the fact that you really you thought that it worked without that, because I was about halfway through and I think I started not this time. This is the second time I watched it, but the first time I remember being like halfway, 3/4 of the way through, and I ended up wikiing it and I saw that. I'm like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And then the whole movie just made sense in hindsight. I think I liked it even more this time.
Yeah,
I think because the first time I gave it a 4 the first time, but like knowing, I don't know, it's both of these movies have me thinking about pacing and what it is about a movie about the hour and a half mark of a 2-hour movie where you start looking at the clock and thinking about how many scenes are left, versus when you watch a television show and you're binging it, you're watching maybe 3, 4, 5 episodes in one sitting. And the
Yeah, that's
pacing of those television shows keeps you going. Me and Riss have been watching Hannibal. I've been very, very into it. It's not like this is the deepest, best show ever, but I think it's very entertaining, and I think it does what it's set out to do. It's a Brian Fuller show. He's done Pushing Daisies, which also is really good. And I just think about that because it's very cinematic inspired from the films and everything. But you know, I think there's a lot of the more modern films. I think, especially with like a slow burn film. First Reformed is another one that remind like this, where it is super slow, but everything happening is so interesting and fascinating that you are just like sitting on the edge of your seat. I need more of this story. This story is so good. I need to know more of it now. And I will watch I will watch a scene with no dialogue in it or whatever. Like, I am ready. And I think that's and I don't know I know it's probably TV, like prestige TV is influenced by film and whatever, but I don't know. It probably is something that transcends both mediums. Is just narrative, something about well-paced narratives. But I was thinking about that. What makes that happen easier? Even in like, I think this television show is an inferior piece of art, but it's keeping me interested for a much longer time than some films.
So with that is when you're writing for television versus writing for film, it's you're writing differently. So it's like you have like for a film, it's like all right, I've got X amount of time to get the whole story in. Versus with a TV show, and especially if you know you've got multiple seasons after, it's you learn to more like do drip feed writing and do like the micro cliffhanger style of writing where there's always something that has you on like hanging on because of just some information or some development with a character or a new situation down the line that could happen or may happen. And I think they like modern TV has gotten so good at the bait and the hook with it. And it's a whole lot harder for a single thing because most of the TV shows that you and I watch are an hour.
Yeah,
At
45 minutes. Yeah.
or you'll get the occasional like premiere special that's an hour and a half, but when you have that hour, like that's especially when you're conditioned with movies to be 90 plus minutes, you're conditioned to want more out of it. But then when the way that they're written and everything is just to keep, we want these like little, every episode has to have these micro cliffhangers that just get you through and go and go. Because I remember I was like that watching the Marvel Daredevil series and Jessica Jones when that came out. Well, I binged those in like 2 days.
Yeah, and some of those are terrible. Like, they're good, bad. You know, like
Yeah.
some of those aren't good. But I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed all of them, and I watched them all.
Yeah, it's just in how it's written, and when you have so much more time, because let's say 8 episode season, you've got almost 8 hours to fill. You can go down way more intricate things and have way more either whether they be subplots where you instead of having an A-B plot like a movie normally would have, you could have an ABC. Because you have an overarching thing where things can peek out that are in episodes that aren't in other episodes.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
you constantly have that revolving door of characters, especially when you have a show like oh, I just had it and I lost it. Like let's just say like an ensemble show where every episode can be following somebody else. So even Euphoria, the show I work on, the first season, every episode focuses on a different person as the main person,
Yeah.
while the main story arc is still happening.
Game of Thrones is really good for that. It's so because it has so many characters and a million plots that are weaving in and out of each other.
Yeah, and that just, it's way easier to keep somebody hooked for that, I think, than trying to do all of that in a 2-hour span and not feel boring.
Just treat it like 2 separate episodes of a television show. Like it's this 2-part miniseries.
You have to fit the end in there though, versus those.
Yeah, that's true. They don't have to. Two episodes of a show doesn't have to start it and end it in the same 2 episodes.
And so you got to cut a lot of the more things. You can't set up all the micro cliffhangers because like this has got to end here. You know, like the Marvel movies obviously are different because they're like an interconnected thing. They're pretty much just a giant TV show.
Yeah, I feel that. The You know what movie that had a really long runtime and it reminded me of watching a prestige television series was The Irishman. I think I might have brought that up here
Yeah,
before.
yeah, I
Um,
agree with that.
because I was very entertained and I wanted to keep going. Like I was not fatigued at any point in that movie.
Yeah.
But I remember I probably watched it like 2 halves or something. But it was
Oh,
just
I once said it.
it was so good that I was not tired. It wasn't like Snyder Cut or something. I was not fatigued by it at all. The
Yeah,
runtime.
even with the Snyder cut, the way it was broken up into parts, I once sat watched that one as well, and
Oh
it
no, 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 no,
yeah, I thought it
no! It
went really
sucked, dude. It's fucking
quick.
sucked.
Come on, you can't go and say uh never mind. It's not bad. It's not.
It was a bad movie, dude. It's a bad movie. Those were arbitrary segments that it was broken up into. Just want to be art shit. All right.
What I
I'm
was
not
getting,
talking about that.
what I was just gonna say was like with the Irishman 2, say like that in the Snyder cut was just it was just the epilogue is what it was where I thought it started to get long and boring. It was like the last half hour that just didn't need to be there.
I
But
know you
yeah,
couldn't resist talking about the Snyder Cut. I shouldn't
no,
have opened that box. Um,
it's not that bad of a movie.
it's a bad movie, dude. And what I meant earlier about superhero shit and mainstream shit, they're still good and bad. Like there is definitely bad superhero movies, and there are good superhero movies, or like there is like the baseline, you know. And I can't say I include the Justice League in one of
Yeah, I would
them.
say Justice League. I would say is a bad movie, but I think the Snyder
Just because it's better doesn't mean that it's good. Just because it's better than the
No,
original one
I
doesn't mean
genuinely
that
loved
it's good.
it. I enjoyed it.
It
Um,
sucked ass. All right. That's why we can't talk about this kind of shit on here. All right. Well, what else do you have to say about killing of a sacred deer? I feel like we haven't talked about it very much.
um, I don't know. How did you feel about um just like the whole ending scene in general where they see Martin at the diner and I was expecting like some shit to go down like Colin Farrell to like lose it or something just like it's just like the nod acknowledgement that we all know each other, we all know what happened, and then they just leave the diner.
They're
um,
fearful of him because he's a god. They're
yeah,
fearful of getting smote again.
yeah, as that's he I thought that I the character of Martin though it just did when he goes from being like timid um like just boy who lost his dad who's just like what's supposed to be led on is like looking for a father figure in Colin Farrell. Just like I thought the actor just did a great job in just transitioning that into just fucking like he's just like straight man, nothing phases him, getting the shit beat out of him while tied to a chair doesn't phase him. He's just like this maniacal presence that just exists and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like he told him what the deal was, and then their whole rest of the movie is them futilely trying to do something that can't be affected. They just don't accept it. It takes him an hour to accept that he just has to kill one of his kids, and that's what he ultimately does. Like, it's interesting that so much of the time is spent on kind of and being in denial of the ending, and which is set in stone from halfway, you know.
Yeah. I think he even says that when he's like doing the exposition dump that this is it. Like,
Yeah, he says it multiple times. When he gets kidnapped, he says it too.
how did you feel from a cinematography standpoint? I thought this was very interesting. Where it's like that high key lighting where it's very bright, but also it's
very
soft.
white.
It's soft. Yeah,
I like there's a lot of like those like gliding shots, like overarching, like from high points
Mhm.
in the house. I thought that was really interesting. Made the house look really like empty, big and empty, though
Yeah,
that there was a full family living in it. It's very sterile. The movie's very sterile because the
yeah,
hospital and the house
Mhm.
and everything's is very, very clean and white. And it's
Yeah.
like an old
I
nice
agree.
house. Beautiful house. And yeah, I don't know. I really have to say anything for like the shots, like other than that, but I just the the curation of the aesthetic, the whites, the sterility of like hospitals and stuff, I thought was really really cool. And makes it a really cool theme. The lobster kind of has a similar look. But this is even more leaning into that like hospital aesthetic.
Unlike the lobster, whereas the second half of the lobster I thought kind of dragged for me a little bit. I felt like this one though, like we kept talking about pacing earlier. I really thought that this was paced well. Like it is. There is no second act or like third act fatigue or anything. There's no like I was saying earlier, like
I think it
while
gets better. It picks up
yeah,
in the second half.
like
Because
with
then it becomes
Titane,
more about them, the family, and just all stuck in the house, arguing and pandering
mhm.
with each other, and trying to make deals and just going crazy.
Yeah, and then like versus Titane, I had like a look at the clock moment because I felt like just like a in like that last like half hour before the end of the movie that had that little drag feel. But this I was just hooked. I would see this again. Versus Titane, I don't think I'm gonna watch that again for a bit.
This is slower in the beginning, and kind of
Yeah.
builds. It picks up steam as it goes. Whereas it doesn't ever get fast, but it just it picks up energy as it's going. Titane like is a flurry right out the gate, and then you are kind of left wondering what the fuck is happening, what the fuck happened, and what is now happening,
Yeah.
and reconciling the two things. Yeah, like I said, I gave it a 4 the last time I watched it originally. I think I'm going to raise that a little bit.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna let's just get the scores here. We're about at that time. I'm giving it a 4.5.
Nice. I'm sitting between a 4 and a 4.5. I'm just debating on it internally, but I think
Well, you gotta make a call.
I know. I think I'm gonna do 4.5 as well. I really liked it. I really liked it. And I'm definitely down to see like more movies from this guy. I like his style a lot. I love the uncomfortable dialogue. We mentioned how it's similar to The Lobster for those who haven't seen either though. Every line of dialogue that's delivered in this movie has a pause before the next person speaks and a pause after every line. Like let's say like I'm going to say 2 lines in a row. It's like how are you doing today? That's very good. Nice.
His
It's like
movie after
very
this came out in 2018. It was called The Favorite, with Olivia Colman and Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz, Nicholas Hoult.
interesting. That's a wild cast.
Yeah, I am. I don't know how I haven't even. This wasn't even on my radar. I think everyone just because everyone stands over killing a sacred deer and The Lobster. But all the scores, all the reviews on this are really good too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a talent filmmaker.
yeah. This definitely got a style. Definitely got a style.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm for it. This is my kind of slow burns. Like these are my kind of indie movies.
One of these days we got to go back to the rankings because it's getting pretty unwieldy now that we have so many movies on it.
Yeah.
So all right, next week we have Lamb.
Ooh.
And I put another French movie on this list. Climax.
Is that's not in theaters? All right, that's
No,
all right.
that's no. It was on Amazon. I don't know if it still is. But
That's
Climax is also a French film. Let me just warn you now. But it is fucking wild. It is a fucking wild fever dream. It gets dark. It gets crazy. So prepare yourself.
nice. I'm excited. I am excited for Lamb. They played a newer trailer for Titane.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Of it, and it's the music changes, so it keeps going back between like, is this gonna be horror? Is this gonna be
A
just
comedy,
weird?
yeah, a weird comedy movie. Yeah, it definitely. I don't know how the movie's gonna be.
I feel like that's gonna be hard tones to juggle because I feel like it's not that it's not going to be hard to take serious of a lamb boy, but it depending on how they present it, it could come off. That could be an issue, but I don't know. I'm excited. When I first saw the trailer for it and like heard about it, I was like, oh man, they're making a movie about anything now. After seeing
No.
Titane being a car baby movie,
Yeah, I
I'm
thought that this movie definitely. I thought that too. I was like, man, Lamb is definitely kind of goes with Titane. I forgot that the lead is Elizabeth Shaw from Prometheus.
Oh, interesting. And Lamb's foreign too, right? And then the whole movie is not in English.
Yeah, it is. It's internationally co-produced. It says, but I think it's Scandinavian of some kind. Iceland. No, Iceland.
Nice, Reykjavik.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Anything that that you've been into or anything that's burning in your mind? I don't have anything.
No, I'm pretty much just working now, so I haven't had much time for other stuff. But
Yeah, me too. Me too. I've been watching football and just working on my 40K minis and whatnot. But
do you
yeah.
your birthday present's here. Do you want to just know what it is then? Since it's been a week.
I must be 40K related if it reminded you of it. What
It is related.
Really? What? Well, I don't know what you'd even know to get me. What is it?
I got you 2 sets of terrain, like the 40K terrain with the that fits like for like the Space Marine like aesthetic.
I wonder which terrain pack is. We just bought the terrain pack with it's like 2 shipping containers and a bunch of barrels and crates and stuff. But yeah, you should.
It's like two kind of like level kind of construction things with some barriers, and then the other one I think is like a like a bigger building.
Cool. Is it like cathedral-y or is it more industrial looking or?
I would say it's more industrial looking.
Because I know that a lot of the official terrain is.
Or
Very
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
churchy.
I would say more kind of cathedraly. It's the Command Edition Battlefield expansions. And it looks like
You said you got one set. It's just one set.
2 sets.
If this set says it's $76.
Yeah.
What's the other set? They're both the same.
The other one is no, one's slightly different. The other one, but same like theme.
Okay, I like this terrain a lot better than the churchy stuff. This honestly fits with your army's vibe a little bit.
I was googling what is like Space Marine battle terrain, and this was like
the only
what I thought.
A lot of the stuff that looks more like military style is usually third party. This is great though. I'm always down for terrain.
Yeah, and then the other terrain piece is the Battlezone Manufactorum Subcloister and Storage Fane.
A sub? Oh wow! So it's just another little piece. It's like fits with the other shit. Cool.
Yeah, they're part of like a series that go together.
Cool. This is line of sight blocking though, so this will be perfect. We need more shitloads about this size. A lot of this tournaments use this kind of stuff where it's like half walls and 2-story half walls.
Yeah. There was I almost got instead of this last one. There's just a giant building, but I figured that these would be more fun for tactical stuff.
Yeah, so and I got building. I got a couple. They're not giant. They're shorter, but I got buildings, so it'd be nice to have something else. But all right, these people don't want to hear about 40K. So we'll wrap it up. Thank you. Let me. Yeah, I know you said you. I don't know if you said you can't come over today, but let me know when you're trying to come down and get your freak on, your build.
Yeah, we're gonna do day.
Yeah, let me know when you're free. I know you said you're busy over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I work Monday through Thursday this week, but my hours are weird, so I got to figure it out. Because I thought tomorrow was like a full 10-hour day, and now I'm running out to 5-hour day. And then my Wednesday and Thursday, I have no idea.
Oh yeah, the set you got me is straight up Adeptus Mechanicus. It's got the logo, like their big logo on one of them.
Oh shit.
No, this is cool. It's all Imperium. It's all Imperium. Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's cool. All right, man. Let's get off. I'm getting off of here. Thank y'all for watching and listening. We're growing all the time. Number 8 in Kazakhstan, baby. So make sure you tell your friends, and we'll keep on making them. Have a good one.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.